So the first thing is to pay attention to when is the right time to say what you want to say or to teach what you want to teach. And I get this from Luqman alayhi salam in Surah Lukman. Now listen to this. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ. We gave Luqman wisdom. Why introduce all of the advice that Luqman is about to receive with the fact that we gave Luqman wisdom, and not just say we guided him to good advice, or we gave him a ton of advice, or we gave him knowledge. Allah singled out one very important tool, which is wisdom. In other words, whatever Luqman alayhi salam knew or didn't know, it didn't matter. It's about when he was going to project that knowledge and information to his son. That was the key. So it's not about, oh, I can't teach my children anything because I've never gone to school, I never got to study Islam. No, just slow down. What you have to focus on is, what do you know about Islam? You know, the things that you practice, the things that are important to you. And you must make sure that you keep that within the framework of just what Islam teaches. You don't just make up what you think is right or wrong, or to what extent that goes. So the first thing is, you have to be very wise, and Allah is telling us that before Luqman starts this conversation with his son, Allah says he was wise. He knew when the right time was to do this. Now let's continue and listen to this ayah. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنْ نِشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ. The peak of Luqman alayhi salam's wisdom is that he was grateful to Allah. So here's the next point. So the first point is what? First point is to know when. And when is the right time and place to start giving advice and teaching your children. But the second thing is to be grateful that your child is still in one piece. To be grateful you have children. To be grateful that even if there's a spark of good, alhamdulillah. You know, even if like you're trying to get them to the masjid and they don't want to go to the masjid, right? At least say alhamdulillah. I mean, even if they don't want to go to the masjid, I'm still glad that they still pray 5 times a day. Even if they don't pray those 5 daily prayers on time, I can still see that they're doing it. Even if they're, you know, may not even care about anything to do with Allah and Islam, they still come home every day. You know, they haven't been like a lot of other kids that would just try to rebel and leave the house and come home at all hours of the night. And I'm going to get to those things because those are some of the exceptional cases that we do have tons of Muslim families out there that have those problems. I'll get to that inshallah a little bit later. This is just the introduction. So it's about knowing when, and it's also about being grateful to the good things that you can see and appreciate in your children. And third and last thing, and this is how short these videos are going to be, is that the ayah continues, أَنِشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. So just remember that shukr or gratitude in and of itself, it only benefits us. Allah doesn't get anything out of that. Now, the last thing that I want to capture about this whole discussion is that take some time to share exactly how you feel with your kids. And kids, you must do the same with your parents. You got to tell them how you feel. And when I say, when you tell them how you feel, don't be like, Mom, you're so crazy, I hate you, you don't even understand nothing. Dad, you barely speak English, you don't understand nothing in life, you never even went to school here. That's not what I'm talking about. Don't start pulling out all of their weaknesses and all of their faults. Because what did Allah say to do? Allah said, don't even say uff to them. Don't even express any sort of emotion or word that would showcase you're disappointed, frustrated, or upset. Don't show any of that. Swallow it. Keep it to yourself. And that's a grind that young people have to learn to go through, is that we're not perfect. And just like what we did with our parents, they weren't perfect as well. And so we have to understand that there are certain things you just have to leave it alone and let it go. You know, it's like how when the daughter makes her first plate, you know, she cooks her first pot of food and she wants her parents to taste it, okay? She makes some noodles or whatever, right? So the first time she's decided to cook, and the first thing that the mom or dad say when they taste her food is, man, you didn't put enough salt in this thing. Or this is not the way I taught you. Or you probably got this off YouTube. That's why it's got no taste. That's why it's this. That's why it's that. What are you doing? Like, that's not the way to respond. They bring home a report card and it says A-, and you're looking at astaghfirullah. You know, this is just terrible. You just take the whole course all over again. Just the person at least tried. Your child tried. They even had the guts to bring the thing to you, to bring and show it to you. Even if it's lower than that, I've got a C minus. Alhamdulillah, it's not an F or a D. They put an effort. All you got to do now is there's room to improve. Talk to them about improvement. So my point is that the third thing is speak about how you feel with one another. Start having those conversations. And there is no age limit to having genuine conversation about feelings in a family. There's no age limit to that. I have my older brothers and sisters, and we do this all the time, not just with each other, but even as a family. And in this day and age, you have more options, more avenues and platforms to do that. If it's kind of weird or awkward to have those conversations in person, start a WhatsApp group. And just have it on WhatsApp. Just say, Mom, or Dad, the way you said this, or you tell your kid, didn't like the way you spoke to me today. That wasn't nice. And just battle it out and let it all out in a WhatsApp group. At least it's a start. I'm not saying all of these kinds of conversations should be done digitally. Just it's a start to ignite some real, genuine conversations about how you feel and what's going on in your life. And so, in this day and age, when you're locked down, I know it's hard. I know it's not normal, to see your family in the same faces day in and day out. It's not a normal thing. I get it. But it's also an opportunity for us to be able to unleash some of those true feelings. And I get this all from the Quran. Remember, Luqman alayhi salam had wisdom. He knew when was the right time to start doing this. He was grateful that his kid wasn't everything about his son was bad. He didn't just focus on all of the pessimistic things about his child, but Allah shifted his attention and his focus that with your wisdom, focus on the good things that you should be grateful for that you have with your son. So focus on the things that you're grateful for that you have with your children. And with that kind of attitude, you'll see sincerity start to manifest itself. You'll see that the willingness to want the best for your kids and your kids wanting the best for you, all of this stuff will start to manifest. Why? Because you were just a good person. You were grateful from the very beginning. Then the third and the last thing is to have genuine, real conversation. And this works both ways. So kids, your parents don't have to do the talking. They don't even have to initiate this stuff. If they don't, you do it. And parents, when your kids are trying to tell you something, I get it. It's very easy for us to present ourselves that we're superior to these kids. They don't have the knowledge or the experience. Just pause for a minute and hear them out. Hear what they have to say. It probably will surprise you. I have a 7-year-old daughter. The other day, I forget what I was doing. I was doing something. The other day I was working on something in my car, right? I was just trying to clean up some things and I was using, different types of chemicals and so on. And I couldn't find one bottle. It had a spray with soapy water in it. And I'm looking for this bottle everywhere. And my 7-year-old daughter looked at me and she's like, Daddy, are you looking for something? What are you looking for? And I hesitated because I said to myself, my brain went into this auto tune that she's not going to know what I'm looking for. But then I just said, she was smart enough to notice that I was looking for something. So maybe she'll probably know where it is or she could find it. So I said, Yusra, I don't know where I put this bottle. It's a clear bottle and it has soapy water in it. And after she was like, soapy water? Does it have bubbles? And I'm like, no, this is for work. I said, we got to look for it because I need it right now. And you know what she did? She started looking around, started going through my tools, started going through in the room, started watching, and she found the bottle. It rolled underneath the bed. And I'm just thinking to myself, my goodness, man, I have to trust her more and I have to believe in her more. She might be 7 years old, at least in terms of how long she's been alive, but she might be smart like a 10-year-old. She might be wise like an 8-year-old. And I have to just be able to trust that. And that's how I can learn what her limits are. And so, subhanAllah, we sometimes underestimate the potential of our children. And that's a huge parenting mistake. Why? Because we probably never had those opportunities or reached that potential. That's a tragedy. And Ali radiallahu anhu once said that we were taught to raise our children different from how we were raised. And I thought that that was just one of the most profound statements on parenting I had ever read. And so with that being said, I want to ask all of you that are listening to this to kindly take some time and share this video with your kids. So at some point today, especially I would prefer that you do this before you break your fast, but you can decide whenever, which is why I'm not releasing these videos at a specific time. When I feel like doing them, I'm going to do it. It's going to be online, and you can take it and you can show it to your kids as much as, or whatever you want. But please do it as a family. That's the key. Everybody just sit around the phone, on the TV, whatever it is, and just watch these short clips as a family. And I'm going to tell you why I am seriously encouraging that at the last video on the last day of Ramadan, inshallah. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing that, why I'm encouraging that. If you watch this alone and then you shut off this phone or shut off the video and then you go to your kids and start telling them what to do, please understand that's not for me. Okay, that's not the way that I want this to come across. I want them to hear it from my own voice. I want them to see my face, and I want them to listen to it themselves so that they can develop their own opinion, their own reaction, and their own thoughts on what they're listening to. And that way, guess what? You can stimulate a good conversation, hopefully, inshallah. Okay, guys? So please share this video with your family. Sit down and watch it. I'm going to make these videos maybe about 7 or 8 minutes long. That's it. So I apologize. This one is probably a bit longer, but stay tuned for the others, inshallah ta'ala. Like I said, every day will be a reflection on life with children, every single day. And like I said, it will work both ways, parents with kids and kids with parents. So stay tuned for that. I hope that this is something that will be beneficial for all of us. And if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, just put it in the comment field and I will take a look at them. JazakAllah khairan, guys. That's all it is for now. Take care. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and accept from us all of our efforts. Allahumma ameen. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.